Weekendz.com. Hepburn's Glass. Quality service is our priority.
Good night to you once again. In the headlines, egg farmers encouraged to market benefits of eggs. 2 shot dead in West Kingston. Man gets life sentence for gun and ammunition. Operation and ownership of early childhood institutions cited as issue for the sector. And now the details. 2 men were fatally shot and 5 other people wounded during a gun attack in Rima in the police Western Kingston division Thursday evening. Dead are 34-year-old Romain Maraj, also called Cooley, and 25-year-old Desmond McKenzie, also called Nicky. 5 others were taken to hospital, including a 10-year-old boy. Police said that about 7:30 Thursday evening, a group of persons was engaged in playing dominoes when 4 men drove up in a car. The men alighted and fired on the group, hitting 7 people. Police say their ages ranged from 10 to 39 years. Maraj and Mackenzie were pronounced dead at hospital and 5 others were admitted. Police said they believed the shooting was a continuation of violence between 2 gangs, Buckers and Fatherless. They say a high-level gangster from Fatherless was shot dead in August in a gang feud, and Thursday evening's fatal attack was likely a reprisal killing. Egg farmers have been told they must create a strategic marketing campaign to heighten public awareness about their products. The advice was given to farmers who say they are increasing production, but consumption of eggs is not going up in tandem. Minister of Agriculture Floyd Green told the farmers they should let people know how important eggs are to the daily diet. He said eggs were probably the best low-cost source of protein, minerals, and vitamins. The Agriculture Minister said the farmers and the ministry must work together to get the population to eat more eggs. He was speaking during the Egg Farmers Association annual general meeting at the Almond Town or the Almond Tree restaurant in Ocho-Rios, St. Anne on Wednesday this week. Jamaican farmers have been providing enough eggs for the needs of the population without the need for imports since 2007. Keep it locked right here on this station as we continue the news right here on this platform. Accidental discharge of firearms by law enforcement officers is on the increase. Commissioner of Indicom Hugh Faulkner says it is a matter of concern, as officers as well as civilians can be wounded or killed in cases of accidental discharge of firearms. Mr. Faulkner was making his report at the quarterly conference of the Independent Commission of Investigations, and this was on Thursday. The Indicom Commissioner said there was an increase in incidents of accidental discharge of firearms for the period January to June this year compared to last year, and more officers were injured. Let's go now to the clip from Mr. Faulkner.
During the period January to June 2023, there were 30 incidents of accidental discharge of firearms by law enforcement personnel. And in 5 of those incidents, 6 officers were injured. This continues to be a concerning issue, as each of these incidents has the potential of causing harm to self, colleagues, or to civilians.
That was head of Indicom, Hugh Faulkner. A 26-year-old man has been sent to prison for life for weapon and ammunition possession in what the police call a landmark conviction. And just pausing there to acknowledge. All right, we continue with that story. He is, let me do that from the top. A 26-year-old man has been sent to prison for life for weapon and ammunition possession in what the police call a landmark conviction. He is Atlee Eric Murray of Marchpen Road, Spanish Town in St. Catherine. Reports are that on the night of December 24, 2022, at approximately 9:35 p.m., officers were patrolling the Marchpen Road or the Marchpen Road Spanish Town's vicinity when they spotted a group of men near Big Tree. Police said that when Murray saw them, he made a sudden attempt to flee the scene. During the pursuit, officers observed Murray removing a firearm from his waistband. After apprehending him, the weapon was identified as a Taurus 9mm pistol. Along with the firearm, one magazine containing 13 9mm cartridges was also recovered. Murray was arrested and taken to the Spanish Town police station. After undergoing a formal question and answer session, Murray was charged and the case was escalated to the St. Catherine Parish Court. The police said that due to the severity of the crime, the matter was transferred to the Gun Court Division of the Supreme Court. Murray pled guilty to the charges, and on October 26, 2023, he was sentenced to life imprisonment for the possession of a prohibited weapon, with the possibility of parole only after 15 years. Additionally, he received a 9-year sentence for unauthorized possession of ammunition. Minister of Education and Youth, Favour Williams, says one of the issues involved in fixing early childhood education is the ownership and operations of the institutions. The minister says that the government operates and owns only 20% of the early childhood institutions, and the others were operated by private individuals for profit. Mrs. Williams says government wants to work with those private owners to improve the quality of the staff and facilities. She was outlining the focus of the plan to transform the education system based on the Professor Orlando Patterson report. The minister was speaking at Jamaica College on Thursday at a town hall promoting Trend, the transformation of education for national development, and Ms. Williams called the early childhood system one of 7 pillars of education to be transformed.
Pillar number 2, early childhood education. There's a lot of talk on everybody's tongue about improving early childhood education. Be it understood that the way that we're structured in Jamaica in the early childhood sector currently, Jamaica, when you look at the number of schools, the Jamaican government owns only 20% of the early childhood institutions in this country. The remaining 80% are owned by private individuals who operate a business, who charge for their services. We want to work together with those private individuals to ensure that they come up to standard and that they have trained professionals within those early childhood institutions.
That was Minister of Education and Youth, Favour Williams. The Manchester Police recovered a homemade revolver along with 11.38 rounds of ammunition in Miketown, Mandeville in the parish on Thursday. Reports are that about 4 p.m., lawmen acting on information conducted a snap raid at an open lot in the area. A search was conducted and the firearm and ammunition were found wrapped in a plastic bag. No arrest has been made in connection with the seizure. And at this time, we continue with more right here on this station. It's time for us to give you items or an item of sports. Afghan continued their late surge for a place in the World Cup semi-finals with a 7-wicket win over the Netherlands in Lucknow. The victory moves Afghanistan level with Australia and New Zealand on 8 points, with only net run rate now keeping them out of the top 4. Hashmatullah Shadidi hit an unbeaten 56 as Afghanistan passed their target of 180 with 18.3 overs to spare. Netherlands were earlier dismissed for 179 inside 47 overs. The win tees up to a potential pivotal encounter against Australia on Tuesday, though the 5-time winners have a game in hand against England on Saturday. And with that, we go now to our international partners to hear the latest of what's happening on the international scene. Some of you would be more than happy to hear what's going on because you have not been hearing anything else since this evening in terms of the war, Hamas and Israel, or in Ukraine against Russia, and other international stories. So let's hit the road and hear from the VOA.
This is VOA News. I'm Alexis Strope. In his third visit to Tel Aviv since the start of the Israel-Hamas conflict, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken called for temporary humanitarian pauses in the fighting at Gaza to facilitate aid delivery and efforts to free the hostages. But as VOA senior diplomatic correspondent Cindy Sain reports, Israel says there will be no temporary truce until all the hostages are freed.
In Tel Aviv, families and friends of the 240 Israeli civilians taken hostage by the U.S.-designated terror group Hamas called for more action to get them freed. Inside, Secretary of State Blinken held talks with top Israeli officials. Blinken later told reporters the United States is relentlessly focused on winning the hostages' release, while also ensuring aid to the thousands of Palestinians in Hamas-run Gaza Strip. Cindy Sain, VOA News, Washington.
The Gaza director for the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees says the average Gazan is living on 2 pieces of Arabic bread made from flour that the UN had stockpiled in the region. And he adds that the refrain from people on the street now is, quote, water, water. Thomas White says the Palestinian Refugee Agency is supporting about 89 bakeries across Gaza, aiming to get bread to 1.7 million people. A strong earthquake has shaken northwestern Nepal late Friday, and officials say at least 128 people are dead and dozens more injured as rescuers search the mountainous villages. Officials said Saturday that the toll was expected to rise, saying communication was cut off with many villages. The U.S. Geological Survey says the earthquake had a preliminary magnitude of 5.6. Nepal's National Earthquake Monitoring and Research Center says its epicenter was at Jarjagat, which is about 400 kilometers northeast of the Nepalese capital, Kathmandu. For additional stories, visit voanews.com. This is VOA News. A former State Department official who's a U.S. Marine Corps veteran convicted of assaulting Capitol police officers during the January 6th insurrection has been sentenced to nearly 6 years behind bars. AP correspondent Jackie Quinn reports.
Federal prosecutors say Federico Klein, who had worked on Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign, was later given a position in the U.S. State Department, specializing in Brazil and the Southern Cone. They allege in 2021, Klein marched to the Capitol where he and others pushing into a tunnel assaulted police officers and blocked open the doors to the Capitol with a stolen police riot shield in one of the most violent episodes of the January 6th riot. The judge sentencing Klein to 5 years and 10 months behind bars and fining him several $1,000s called Klein's actions shocking and egregious. I'm Jackie Quinn.
Panama's President Laurentino Cortizo has signed into law an indefinite moratorium on new mining concessions, which also prohibits renewing existing concessions. Panama's National Assembly approved the bill Thursday. An article was removed, however, that would have revoked a controversial mining contract. The new law will still allow Minera Panama to operate an open-pit copper mine in the state of Colón for 20 years, with a possible extension for another 20 years. Environmentalists argue the mine threatens to destroy more of the dense jungle surrounding it and imperils local drinking water. After Russia invaded Ukraine, diamond dealers in Antwerp, Belgium were asked to boycott stones traced to Russia, a major supplier. Now, Reuters correspondent Jillian Kitchener says Western powers want to make the boycott official with a formal ban on Russian stones, but major hurdles remain.
Antwerp, Belgium, the largest diamond trading hubs in the world, has a Russia problem. It was only a few weeks after Russian troops invaded Ukraine last year when diamond firms in Antwerp started getting phone calls from international clients asking them to avoid using stones from Russia. That was no easy feat for diamond dealer Thierry Tugendhoff, who said about half of his rough diamonds used to come from Russia due to their high quality. But his company, was forced to pivot and get its diamonds from somewhere else. Now, Western powers want to make the boycott official with a formal ban on Russian stones.
Reuters correspondent Julia Kitchener. An autopsy suggests the mass shooter in Lewiston, Maine was alive and possibly on the run during a good portion of the huge search that followed his disappearance. The medical examiner's office released its conclusion Friday about Card's time of death. Card died from a self-inflicted gunshot. The October 25th shootings killed 18 people and wounded 13 others. I'm Alexis Strope, VOA News.
Thank you very much, Alexis. And with that, we've come to the end of our news package tonight. Local news and the weather as well as sports. Let's now, well, we are going to provide you now with the weather. I beg your pardon. And so let's tell you that the National Meteorological Service of Jamaica is reporting that there is a significant feature of a trough across Jamaica. The trough is expected to weaken this weekend as a high-pressure ridge builds across the central Caribbean. In our 24-hour forecast, tonight becoming fair. Tomorrow morning, partly cloudy and windy. Tomorrow afternoon, there'll be isolated showers and thunderstorms, mainly across central and western parishes. And it will be windy. There'll be windy conditions, especially across the southern parishes as well. Let's take you to the 3-day forecast, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Isolated afternoon showers and thunderstorms across central and western parishes on Sunday. And on Monday, isolated afternoon showers across sections of eastern and the parishes. And on Tuesday, it will be partly cloudy in the afternoon. In terms of other current regional weather features, a stationary front is currently across western Cuba. Minimum temperatures expected for Kingston tonight, 25 degrees Celsius. Minimum temperature expected for Montego Bay tonight, 25 degrees Celsius. That's the latest news from us here at the NRPMediaJA.com newsroom. Thank you very much, producer, for your effort during the course of this week to bring the news to us. Once again, before we go, here are the headlines. Egg farmers encouraged to market benefits of eggs. 2 shot dead in West Kingston. Man gets life sentence for gun and ammunition. And operation and ownership of early childhood incidents cited as an issue for the sector. The news tonight came to you courtesy of Hepburn's Glass.
Hepburn's Glass Appliance is the latest trend-setting supplier of glass and mirrors in the industry. We specialize in tinted and clear glasses, as well as mirrors for all your windows, doors, and closets at very competitive prices. To maximize your shopping experience, we stock 316 and 1/8 mirror thickness and 316 and quarter thickness in our entire stock of float glasses. We have in stock gloves, cutters, and suction cups at unbeatable prices. Our customer service is second to none, with same-day cutting for your specific measurements. Visit our office at 13 Chisholm Avenue, Kingston 13. Call us at 908-0962 or email hepburn.glass@gmail.com. Hepburn's Glass. Quality service is our priority.
Well, you've heard the weather. You've got the news. You've got the sports, the international news as well. This is where we put the wrap on things right here. Station. Thank you so much. Continue to listen to the newscast right here on NRPMediaJA.com on this radio platform. Of course, my name is Leon Nash, the original and official Blessed Man. Thank you so much for those of you joined on the NRP Media JA YouTube channel just for the news.
Don't you move that dial from Unity 96.1 FM. The Friday edition of the Weekendz Gospel Show continues in just a moment.
Yes, indeed. It will be continuing right now. And we've got a song that is lined up for you at 10:36 is the time. Yes, 10:36, making that 10:37 now. All right, and we were doing a song earlier on, What a God, What a God, What a God. We're going to move to that song, but we're going to say to all those of you who are watching via YouTube right now, going over to our Facebook page or our radio platform as we make that shift from the YouTube channel at this time. We opened the YouTube channel just for the news. So we're going back to Facebook Live for streaming exercise, and we'll be on our radio platform, nrpmediaja.com. So YouTube will be closed right now. We go over to Facebook, and you'll be getting everything on Facebook, and on radio, our radio platform, you'll also get everything right there. So, but we want to thank you. We thank you, and we appreciate your time. Continue to encourage your friends to subscribe to the YouTube channel of the station, NRP Media JA. We want to get those numbers up by the end of this month, passing that 300 mark. Yes, so that we can be more marketable, right? Who can help me? Can you help me? Yeah, those of you who are going to be watching after this, please help us to do just that. We thank you. And we close the YouTube now. We stay on Facebook Live. Blessings to you as we continue